Frank, you've got you got MSNBC that says, oh, the Trump supporters are the worst in the world. These are cretins. These are fascists. They're supporting a criminal organization that is crimes against humanity and killed more of their own people than any nation on earth, and is far worse than Hitler was in 1936, as bad as that devil was, and signaled to us everything was coming. These guys are in the operation of doing it. Live organ harvesting, concentration camps, across the board, and yet the mainstream media is kowtowing to them. All the big woke corporations are kowtowing to them, and now they've got a virus that's out of control in China. And now, finally, after 2.5 weeks of the war room, pounding again like we did in Wuhan back in January of 2020, the Financial Times basically says, hey, there may be a problem here. And one of the problems is, hey, they already jabbed everybody, forced vaccinations of 1.2 billion people. And guess what? You have a whole nation that's sick. Frank Gaffney, tell us about the letter the Committee on the Present Danger is putting forward right now. Tell us what action this audience has to take to shut down the genocide games today, to make sure our athletes don't get infected, athletes around the world, and also this criminal organization is not able to use it like Hitler used the 1936 games.
2 quick points, Steve, to put a very fine point on it. 100 million people have been killed by the Chinese Communist Party, their own people. Another 400 million, they claim, were aborted. So You're talking about genocide on an epic scale. Then there's the genocide of the Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities. Then there's the organ harvesting of Falun Gong and Christians and others. Then there's, of course, what they've done to the world with their COVID-19 1.0 biowarfare weapon. What you've just asked about is the relevant question, Steve. We now are witnessing, evidently, some new terrible strain that is killing or is certainly jeopardizing the lives of large numbers of Chinese, hence this lockdown, at the very moment that they're telling us, oh, no, there's no problem. Bring those athletes here. And as we said before the break, they've done this before. Those athletes, if they go, will be subjected, I fear, to mortal peril. Maybe it's not COVID. Maybe, as Ben was telling us, maybe it's hemorrhagic fever, which is, if anything, an even more horrible disease, by the way. But whatever they're going to get over there, we're not going to want them coming back to the United States with it, are we? So there are moral imperatives here not to legitimate this regime. There are very practical considerations. Don't help make the Olympic Games of February in Beijing the next super spreader event. And then there's this question that I think has to be top of mind as well. We're in the middle of a war with these people. The Chinese Communist Party has declared people's war against our country. We can't be doing anything further to not just legitimate them, but to enable them. And as you say, Steve, the model of 1936 applies here. Adolf Hitler came away from the international community, so-called, endorsing his Third Reich.
Big time.
Emboldened to believe that he could act with impunity, to engage not only in the mass murder of Jews at home, but to engage in world war against everybody else. The Chinese Communist Party is putting us on notice with what they're doing internally, that they're into the Holocaust there, but they're also absolutely bent on world domination.
I want to go back to those 36 games. Remember, right after in 36, they rolled in on Austria, on Czechoslovakia, and then Poland. It reinforced them that the West was weak, that they had come and kowtowed to the games. Hitler and Goebbels and those guys and Goering, Himmler, they took the lesson that the entire West came and kowtowed to them. That's where they rolled in Austria. That's where they rolled in Czechoslovakia. That's where they rolled into Poland. And that's where we had a war that killed 200 million people. Because the gutless West was sitting there telling them how great they were during those games, Frank Gaffney.
You're so right. We're so intent on stopping that that we've put together a letter, the Committee on the Present Danger of China, Reggie Littlejohn's group, the Women's Rights Without Frontiers, that you can find at genocidegames.org. It is a direct and very forceful appeal to the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee to tell our athletes, don't go to Beijing. They must do that, Steve. I think you were suggesting they ought to have a press conference to do that today. And they should. This is something everybody needs to sign because they need to hear from the American people.
Where's the CDC? Where's Tony Fauci? Where's Dr. Emmanuel? We want to have masks on people about Omicron until next summer. Why are you not in the southern border? You don't care. And now it's coming out of Central Asia again by this criminal organization, and you're silent. You know why? Because you're partners with them.